What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games. In today's video, we're going to be showing off all 126 confirmed Pokemon coming to Pokemon Legends ZA, including all of the confirmed Megas, what Pokemon are currently missing from the Generation 6 decks, and what else we could be seeing being added to this game. And of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the channel by joining the Pan Fam by hitting that join channel member button below. So I made this infographic because I couldn't find a good one. So I made one myself. Feel free to share it. But here is all 126 confirmed Pokemon as of Pokemon Day. This is using the two new trailers that were shown off and the very first trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA. And of course, any new art that was released. Because like Houndoom, as an example, was confirmed on the piece of art showing off the city. And same with Starmie as well. So that's how we added them. So a couple things at quick glance. This is a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon, right? We got a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon up in here. To be fair, Gen 1 does have a good amount of Megas, so a lot of our Megas are actually coming from Generation 1 Pokemon, at least their base forms in general. And I don't have an actual issue of that. I think a lot of these Pokemon can deserve some love for sure. And a lot of these Pokemon are only good because of their Megas. Like Pidgeot was never really a good Pokemon, but because of a Mega, became good. Same with Kangaskhan, and even like Onyx, obviously Steelix. But there you go. Same with Pinsir. A lot of these Pokemon never were good until they had a Mega. There is definitely opportunity for some of these Pokemon to get a Mega, like Arbok. I think Dragonite is another great contender for a Mega. Victory Bell. So a lot of good stuff there. Now, Generation 2 is actually where two of our starters are coming from here. We got Megamian line, we got the Fraligator line. Now, I do think there's potential for these guys to get Megas, but I actually think there's a higher chance that they're going to be getting a regional form. We saw this in Pokemon Legends Arceus, where the starters actually had a brand new regional form. Now, we could get both. We could get a regional form that eventually Mega evolves. Personally, I'd rather have a regional form because regional forms stay forever in Pokemon games. Mega Evolutions only go to Pokemon games that have Mega Evolutions allowed. We haven't had Megas in so long, but regional Pokemon last forever as long as one of the forms is allowed in the game. The other one is usually allowed in either via trading or they're just catchable within the game themselves. Now, I'll say this, Generation 2 has a pretty all-star cast. I mean, the Ariados line actually pretty cool. Could get a Mega. Ampharos obviously has a Mega. Espeon, Umbreon, we all love that. Steelix has a Mega. Heracross has a Mega. Houndoom has a Mega. Tyranitar has a Mega. So Gen 2 is probably not going to be getting any new Megas outside of potentially the starters and Ariados. Now for Generation 3, it's not that many Pokemon, actually. It's really mostly Pokemon that have Megas already. Now, Gardevoir line obviously has two Megas, Gardevoir and Gallade. Sableye has a Mega. Roselia doesn't have a Mega, Roserade, but, it's a cool Pokemon. Altaria has a Mega. Absol has a Mega. Salamence has a Mega. Now, Generation 4 is one of the least loved gens here, alongside with Generation 3. To be fair, Generation 4, the entire Gen 4 dex was available in Pokemon Legends Arceus, so I'm actually expecting something similar in this game where the entire Gen 6 dex is available eventually in Pokemon Legends ZA, but because of the availability in like BDSP and Legends Arceus, they're not really hyping up Gen 4 stuff. As you can see, Roserade line I already talked about. Lucario has a Mega. Hippowdon was actually featured prominently in the trailer, could receive a Mega. Of course, our EV evolutions, Leafeon and Glaceon. Gallade has a Mega. And that's it for Gen 4. Pretty much, I am not expecting many Gen 4 Pokemon in this at all. Now for Generation 5 is actually very interesting. Has a decent amount of representation on this list. Besides Generation 1 and Generation 6, this is going to be pretty decently well repped with some good choices. Now, obviously, Embor, the starter. So once again, we can get a regional variant instead of having this version of Embor. Could be a different Embor. We could get a Mega Evolution as well for it, potentially even changing the typing. I do think that Embor will be getting a different typing. I do think whatever the Fraligator will be getting different typing, and I think Meganium is going to be Grass and Fairy. Now, this is a big one for a lot of us. If you're a shiny hunter, Patrat is finally available on Nintendo Switch systems. All the Pokemon games that were released on the Switch, we have not been able to shiny hunt for the Patrat or Watchog line. So hopefully a couple of the other Pokemon we can't hunt for are going to be available in this game, which is going to be pretty sweet. But that is a pretty big W for us. Now, Krokorok line, really awesome Pokemon. Could get a Mega as well. Garbodor could get a Mega. Emolga could. Chandelure, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, could receive a Mega here. So that's about it for Gen 5. I do think these are some strong choices, and I think we'll definitely see some more. Because Generation 5 is one of the biggest gens out there. Now, Generation 6, we actually nearly have all of the Gen 6 Pokemon included. I do think eventually they'll all be included in the game. So we have Diggersby line, Talonflame, Pavilion, Pyroar, Florges, Go-Go, Pangoro. Shout out to Pancham, who is the mascot of the channel. Furfural, Meowstic, Aegislash. Love that Pokemon so much. We got the Spritzy line, Swirlix line. We got the Malamar, Dragalge, Klotzer, Sylveon, of course, Hawlucha, Dedenne, Goodra, Klefki, Noivern, and Zygarde. And that's pretty much our confirmation list. Now, something to note, none of the Gen 6 Pokemon actually have a Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution being pretty much, well, outside of like the Yancey, but for the most part, none of the Gen 6 Pokemon have Mega Evolutions. I do think Megas are finally going to be coming to the Generation 6 Pokemon, and they deserve it. It's weird to have a mechanic introduced in your gen, but really have none of your Pokemon actually receive that mechanic. It's a really strange practice, and I think they're going to rectify this in Pokemon Legends ZA. Now, on our next slide, we have a confirmation of 19 Mega Pokemon confirmed. So Mega Charizard XY, we have Pidgeot, Kangaskhan, Pinsir, Gyarados, Aerodactyl, Ampharos, Steelix, Heracross, Houndoom, Tyranitar, Gardevoir, Sableye, Altaria, Absol, Salamence, Lucario, and Gallade. Now, there's actually a total of 48 Mega Pokemon, and I don't think all 48 are going to make it into the game. A lot of them are tied to like legendary, so Latios, Latias, Groudon, Kyogre. I don't think those are going to make it. The Gen 3 starters also all have Megas. I don't know if they're going to make it into the game either. They could, but I don't know. But I do think some other Mega lines could potentially make it into the game to fill out the decks. Because if you want to consider the number here, 126, the Pokemon Legends Arceus Dex is a 242 Dex. This is 126. So we're actually about halfway there. Actually, a little bit halfway past that now, right? So I do think we'll probably get a Dex around 250 to 300 Pokemon. I'm not expecting anything more than that. So this is about half the Pokemon in the game so far. So they could fill it out with some of the megas that are currently missing in the game. But I also do think they want to focus on new megas and regionals and new Pokemon evolutions completely as well. Now, what are the missing Gen 6 Pokemon so far? Well, we got the starters, the Barracle line, which I personally completely forgot about, Heliolisk, our fossils, Phantump line, we got the Pumpkaboo line, Avalog line, Carbink, and then we got our legendaries and mythicals with Hoopa, Volcanion, Diancie, and then Xerneas and Yveltal. Now, I do think they're all going to be available, and if you add this amount, you're going to be getting 155 confirmed Pokemon. Because if you look at Pokemon Legends Arceus, every single Gen 4 Pokemon is in the game. I'm going to assume every single Gen 6 Pokemon is going to be in this game, especially since this game is a sequel to Pokemon X and Y. It just makes sense that they're going to be doing it that way. Now, I also do think that some of these Pokemon could receive Megas as well. I think the starters have a very high chance of getting a Mega. I would love to see a Mega Heliolisk as well. Mega Fossils would be super cool too. And I also potentially think that we could get forms for Xerneas and Yveltal that we saw that Pokemon Legends Arceus, gave Palkia Dialga some form. So that is a potential up in the air. I do think the mythical Pokemon will be available in either side quests or from save data transfers from another Switch Pokemon game on your console, which would make a lot of sense because Pokemon Legends Arceus did that for Shaman and Darkrai. Now, how are they going to fill out the rest of the Pokedex? Well, I think they're going to be looking at the X and Y decks. Now, X and Y had 3 Pokedex: Central, Coastal, and Mountain Kalos areas. And notice how all these Pokemon are generations 1 to 6. I don't think any of the Pokemon in Pokemon Legends ZA are going to go past Generation 6 in general. So I do think this is going to be a pretty solid list of candidates. Now, I do think if they have a Mega, very high chance they'll be in. I think Beedrill has an incredibly high chance. I also think the monkeys have a high chance of being in the game since they haven't been catchable on the Nintendo Switch platform yet. So we can actually shiny hunt them for the first time on modern hardware, which would make a lot of sense. Also, I do think there's going to be some Pokemon that could thematically be in the game, like something like a Machamp, Conch Elder. These Pokemon are, they're building the city. It would make sense to have fighting type Pokemon to help the construction workers. So that would make a lot of sense. I also think Venusaur and Blastoise are going to be making it into the game because Charizard is in the game. He has a Mega. They were originally in the game, all of them. You would get a free one of them and, the Mega Stone for them. Makes a lot of sense for Venusaur and Blastoise to make a return to this game in general. Now, a couple of fan favorites I would personally like to see would be Snorlax, Crobat, Haxorus. That would be pretty awesome. I would love Zangoose and Viper to make a return, have Mega Evolutions, or even just regular evolutions. I think that'd be really neat too. Now, there's a couple of Pokemon that are on my wish list, and that is going to be Nidoking and Nidoqueen. These Pokemon have not been in a Pokemon game since Sword and Shield. I need them back in, and I want them to get some badass Mega Evolutions. That would be super sick. That would be my number one dream come true for this game in general. I would absolutely love to see that. Now, Flygon, it could potentially be added to the game. Everyone wants Mega Flygon. It makes a lot of sense. We could see Flygon. Garchomp was in the game, already has a Mega. That could definitely happen as well. So let me know in the comment section below what Pokemon you wish to be seen in this game. What do you want in Pokemon Legends ZA? And also, are you currently happy with the Pokemon Legends ZA decks that we've seen so far? I mean, I do think we'll get about 100 more Pokemon, so spots are limited. But definitely let me know a couple Pokemon you desperately want to see being added to the game. Anyways, guys, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. I catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.